Imagine a king so powerful he ruled by divine right, yet met a fate so disturbing that history nearly buried it. A monarch whose body, while still breathing, began to decompose, alive. This is the bizarre case of the king who rotted alive, a true historical horror that reads like a Gothic novel. Today, we dive into one of history's most grotesque royal deaths, involving ambition, betrayal, medieval medicine gone wrong, and the terrifying final days of a king whose flesh began to rot before he was even dead. Stick around as we uncover the chilling tale of King Charles II of Navarre, also known as King Charles the Bad.
Our story begins in 14th century Europe, an age of knights, plagues, and political backstabbing. Charles II of Navarre was born in 1332 to royal blood. He was ambitious, cunning, and manipulative. So manipulative, in fact, that he earned the nickname Charles the Bad during his lifetime. Not exactly the PR a king dreams of. Charles ruled the small kingdom of Navarre, nestled between what is now modern-day Spain and France. But his ambitions reached far.
Charles wasn't just politically ruthless, he was also feared for his obsession with poisons. He allegedly kept a personal apothecary whose job was to develop deadly elixirs. His enemies often died mysteriously. But poison wasn't just for others. According to several historical sources, Charles began taking small doses of poison himself, believing this would build up his immunity should someone try to kill him. The irony? This belief, known today as Mithridatism, may have contributed to his gruesome demise.
By the 1380s, Charles's health had started to fail. He was likely suffering from a degenerative disease, perhaps complicated by the substances he'd ingested over the years. Contemporary accounts describe his body as beginning to waste away while he was still alive. His muscles deteriorated, his skin grew pale and mottled. Sores appeared across his body. In what is likely a combination of gangrene and sepsis, parts of his flesh begin to rot while his heart still beat. Some reports even claim he reeked of decay. Servants had to wear cloths over their faces when entering his room. But the worst was yet to come. In his final days, Charles's doctors tried a strange cure. They decided to wrap his entire body in linen soaked with brandy, perhaps to preserve him or fight infection. Once the brandy-soaked cloth was applied, a monk nurse was ordered to sew the cloth shut around his body. But then, disaster struck. One careless move, a torch too close. The brandy-soaked bandages ignited in flames. King Charles II was burned alive in his bed, already rotting, now aflame, his screams said to echo down the stone halls of his fortress. It was a death both symbolic and grotesque. The paranoid king, obsessed with poison, consumed by the very treatment meant to save him. Was this truly a case of rotting alive? Modern historians believe Charles II may have suffered from gangrene, a condition where body tissue dies due to lack of blood flow or severe infection. If untreated, as it often was in medieval times, the decay could spread, causing a living person to literally decompose while conscious.
While Charles II's case is the most famous, he wasn't the only royal to meet a grotesque end. Take King Henry VIII of England. Toward the end of his life, he suffered from chronic leg ulcers that oozed and smelled so bad his courtiers fainted. Some believe he had type 2 diabetes, leading to necrotic tissue and immobility. He too was slowly rotting from the legs up, though not quite as dramatically as Charles II. In the ancient world, rulers like Herod the Great were said to be devoured by worms, likely suffering from severe parasitic infections or organ failure that caused their flesh to decay.
Charles II of Navarre remains a cautionary tale in royal history. His political ambitions led to betrayals and wars, but in the end, it was his own body, not his enemies, that brought about his most horrific defeat. His rotting, flaming death served as a stark reminder that no amount of power can shield one from decay. Even kings cannot escape disease, misjudgment, and the brutal finality of death. History is full of strange and haunting stories, but few are as dark, dramatic, and disturbing as the tale of Charles the Bad. So next time you light a candle or open a bottle of brandy, spare a thought for the king who rotted and burned alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. What's the most bizarre death in history you've heard of? We might cover it in our next video. Thanks for watching The Bizarre Case of the King Who Rotted Alive.